Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ahrefs Use Case Showdown. You're watching live from screens around the globe. I am your host, Constance, and tonight you are not just spectators. Tonight you are the judges. You will decide who walks away victorious. You will crown the champion. Tonight we're not stopping at theory, folks. This isn't just fluff. You'll be witnessing real tactics, real use cases, real value, delivered by two of the most respected minds in digital marketing. So buckle up, because what you're about to witness will change how you use Ahrefs forever. Two titans, 3 rounds, and only one can claim the crown. Let me introduce you to tonight's combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner. He joined Ahrefs in 2015 as their first marketing hire. Today, he is the chief marketing officer of a company valued over $100 million in AR. He helped build the empire by throwing out the standard SaaS marketing playbook, not tracking dozens of metrics or A/B testing or running drip campaigns. And he has spoken at some of the largest industry conferences around the globe: PubCon, Brighton SEO, Digital Marketers Australia. And he is also the host of our very own Ahrefs podcast, where he takes no fluff, no nonsense interviews with the most interesting people in marketing and online business. Now 5 seasons in. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who has proven that great product plus great content beats gimmicks anytime, Tim Soulo! And now, fighting out of the red corner, this man has been reverse engineering Google's secrets since he was 16 years old. By 19, he was working for an agency for Land Rover, Nissan, and Hewlett Packard as clients. And by his mid-20s, his own agency has generated over 7 figures in sales. He's the founder of Detailed.com, and his SEO extension is used by 500,000 people every single week. And his research on how 16 companies dominate 500 over websites in Google search results was so influential, it was presented on stage by executives of multi-$100 million companies. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Allsopp!
Let's go, let's go.
All right, folks, let me break down the rules of engagement. This showdown consists of 3 rounds. In each round, our competitors will present 2 Ahrefs use cases, 2 powerful tactics that you can take away and use in your own work. In each round, Tim goes first and Glen goes second. After both fighters have presented their use cases, you, the audience, will vote. Which use case is more powerful? Which tactic would you actually use? Which one made you think, I gotta try this tomorrow? The fighter with the most votes wins the round. And at the end of 3 rounds, the fighter with the most votes will be crowned the first ever Ahrefs Showdown champion. And here's what makes it personal, folks. The loser of tonight's showdown has pledged to donate $500 to a charity of the winner's choice and will be receiving the heat for their defeat in today's arena on social media. Now that we know how things are going to go down, Tim and Glen, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I didn't expect such an awesome introduction. Thank you, Constance.
Audience,
That was very
are
cool.
you ready?
Okay, show us who's rooting for Glen, who's rooting for me. Put like Glen or team in chat.
Yeah, show in the chat.
We need to know.
Rooting for Glen
We need to
and
know
Tim.
who's rooting for who.
We'll see what the audience prefers. Yeah, friendship wins. Okay. All right. In that case, let the Ahrefs showdown begin. Round 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are underway. In this corner, Tim Soulo steps up to the plate first. Tim, you can go ahead and take over the share.
Okay, let's go.
The floor is yours. You have 8
I prepared.
minutes.
I prepared a simple presentation. Don't judge me. I'm not a designer. So this is a list of my favorite use cases. They're not necessarily the most advanced ones. They're not necessarily the most kind of overlooked ones. These are my favorites. So the purpose of this webinar is for me and Glenn to show you guys how we use Ahrefs and what is our favorite use cases. So, and yeah, mine are surely better than the ones Glenn will share. This is a note on my slide. So the first use case I want to present is this site structure report inside Explorer. So here is where it is. We have a tool called Site Explorer. I'm sure you're well familiar with it. And once you put any website there or any subfolder, to be honest, you can go to Site Structure report on the left, and you'll see this kind of tree that shows you essentially the structure of the website with all the subfolders. And here you can see how many pages in each subfolder. So for example, you can see that for Ahrefs blog, our blog subfolder has 1,700 organic pages, which are bringing us 7.5% of total traffic to our blog. But what you can see is that our writing tools folder is bringing us 21% of search traffic with 95 pages. So, and I can expand this folder and see all the actual writing tools, paragraph writer, sentence writer, etc. So site structure right now is the report which I open first one whenever I need to research a website, whenever I discover some company whose marketing I want to dig into, or sometimes when I prepare for the podcast and I want to study the company of my guest. Site structure is the report I visit first. Previously, it was top pages report, but site structure gives me a lot more insight a lot faster. And here I have a nice link figuring out Zapier's SEO growth. I remember then there was a case when people on Twitter were discussing how Zapier grew in their search traffic. And with the site structure report, just in about 5 seconds, as I say here, by using the comparison mode, I can see that 115 new blog articles added plus 4.6 million in search traffic, while the 3,000 new applications in their applications folder didn't move the needle. So yeah, inside structure report, you have this comparison mode where you can compare the state of those subfolders of a website between two timestamps. So you can go back in time and see which subfolders grew. And here you can clearly see that their blog grew by 6.4 million visits per month with just 115 new pages. And their applications folder, there were like 64,000 new pages, I don't know, with different applications added, and it only added them just a little bit. Oh, no, sorry. They added 3,000 new applications, so the change column is here, but it actually went down in organic search traffic. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to add is that site structure report is actually available in our Google Search Console. So I cannot show you the Google Search Console report of ahrefs.com because this would be kind of a proprietary data of how much traffic our website is getting actually. But yeah, if you have Google Search Console connected to your Google account, you don't necessarily want to know it for your own website because, like I'm saying here, you probably know your own website pretty well. But if you are a consultant or a freelancer or you're an agency and you're working with clients and they give you access to their Google Search Console, which you can connect to your Ahrefs account, the first report I would go in our Google Search Console tool is site structure because it quickly exposes their strategies. Let's go to the second use case. The second, my favorite use case, is tracking homepage changes with page inspect. Sorry, it has been a long day. So we're closing site structure. So this is page inspect. Here I have winter.com, which is essentially a messaging research tool. I had Pep Laya, the founder of winter.com, on the podcast, and I was actually researching his website, winter.com, before interviewing him. And it is kind of getting meta because he has a messaging research tool and I was researching his messaging. So I was researching the messaging of a messaging research tool. And in Page Inspect, you have this nice calendar view with a heat map. And those squares, they show you how much changes we saw on a given date. So you can see moderate changes, no changes, moderate changes. And I can compare between two dates. And as you can tell, I can clearly see that previously the title of his homepage was On-Demand Market Research Platform for B2B, but then later he changed it the fast alternative to traditional B2B market research. And as you can see, so I'm checking winter.com, exact URL mode, so it looks at the homepage. And I can compare between any dates and see how the messaging on their homepage has changed. This is very, very important if you're crafting your own messaging, the messaging for your entire company, or maybe you're launching some kind of product within your company and you want to know how your competitors present themselves, and you also want to know how their messaging has evolved over time. Like, what did they value last year and what do they value this year? Or you can actually identify the exact time they started adding AI messaging on their homepage, which is right now a hot topic for everyone. So yeah, page inspect report, compare between two dates, and you'll see how their messaging changed. And I would show, I will later show some other use cases for page inspect, but I guess that's it from me for now. Let's give it to Glenn.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Use cases 1 and 2 from Tim Soulo. He's come swinging out with first 2 use cases, but the question is, can Glen Allsopp answer back? Glen, the ring is yours. 8 minutes on the clock. Show us what you got.
Okay, let's go. Thank you for the awesome introduction. That was incredible. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Let me know if everything's okay there. Okay, I can see if you. Okay, so all right. I like this AI image better than the main one. I think I look a bit more. I think I look a bit more dangerous in this one. Okay, so the first thing I want to show, sorry, my next slide is, so round one, I'm going to talk about, we all know about how to target terms, what are people ranking for? Maybe I should create a page covering that topic. But what about when you've already covered the topics that other websites are ranking for? So I'm going to start a bit slow here, make Tim think he has a chance, and then I'm going to share the second part of round one. I'm going to share something I haven't seen anyone discuss before, so hopefully that's going to get a good reaction. All right, so what I love to do, so let's open up Ahrefs. Just got a website here. We can see cars.com. Let me just move people out the way a little bit. So they're having some losses in search traffic, but nothing crazy. It's a public company doing very well. Certainly had a good, end of 2025. So what I like to do is see what's going on there. So we can dive into their organic keywords. I've just opened this up in advance just because I only have a few minutes to talk. And there's a few things I've opened in advance. So first of all, I want to see rankings that they have where someone else is also ranking. And the highest DR of that page in the top 5 results is up to 40. So the domain rating is not too strong. The authority of the websites that you're up against isn't too crazy. Word count from 4. You can also change the intent so that it's non-branded if you want to, just to get some more specific niche terms. You can even, long tail terms, you can even make this longer if you want to. But the key thing I'm focused on, so let's just go back to the slide for a second. Let's just say I'm now thinking about, I want to create videos and not only have pages ranking, but what kind of videos, topics should I be covering that are relevant to my niche and my competitor? What kind of products are competitors showing up for? Should I be adding more FAQ content to my pages? And can I see who's actually showing up and people also ask? And can I get ideas there to improve my content? And just another kind of trying to take over more sub real estate. And that's really why I love this tool. So what I'm specifically looking for here is that the current keywords, they include either a video or a video preview. And we can go down and we can see the list here for cars.com. And of course, you can do this for any of your own websites, any of the competitors, whatever is relevant to your niche. And you can also see for these terms, these, they're getting more and more traffic. So just one example here, we can take one of the first terms and we can see the video carousel there. Now, what I really like about this tool is that maybe you'll search for something and maybe you won't actually see the videos there, even though that's kind of, you want it to be inspired to create videos and take over more sub real estate. You can go into the term, so you can click on any of these phrases. You can go into the page, and here we've opened Keywords Explorer. If you go down to the bottom here, you can see what we actually saw in the search results. So you can change the dates for these. So you can look into, people also ask, you can look into what video was actually showing up and get some inspiration that way. So another example, just as I said, this can apply to a lot of different industries, any kind of website you're competing with. Again, lowest domain rating, word count of 4. Instead here, I've changed the sub feature to people also ask. So this is for Zapier.com. and I can see the kind of pages and terms they're ranking for in different locations where this SERP feature is present. So, and again, we can dive into any one of those. Sorry, just hide. Can't see my top bar at the moment. There we go. We can dive into any one of those, and then we can once again go down to the SERP feature and we can actually see the people also ask results. So what was actually showing up there? Because maybe if you search for yourself or you're targeting a location that you're not in, you might not know what was actually in those search results. You can see that right here in the results. And it's really cool. And then you can go into that specific page if you want to. Let me just make this bigger. You can go into that specific page and you can see the kind of content they're writing. I'm definitely someone who likes to get into the meat of it, so I'm going to talk about the best dictation software. I want to show the best dictation software, but you can also, later on, you can have additional commentary, the kind of thing that might help you get into a people also ask SERP feature. So that's lots of different SERP features you can go through and get more inspiration of more search results or SERP real estate that you can take over. So the second idea, I really love this one, and please, maybe this is not your example. I don't know if other people can see that pop up there. Maybe this is not your specific industry, but what I'm about to show you, it works in so many different niches. It works if you're selling products, experiences, software, courses, events, whatever it may be. So you can go to search results and very clearly see go to websites and see they are clearly promoting something with affiliate links. So we can go to the Telegraph here. They have some kind of deal with booking.com. So you search for the best hotels in Santorini, they have affiliate links. Now it's a bit of a hassle. It's not the easiest thing in the world to figure out all of the pages on telegraph.co.uk, which not only promotes something as an affiliate, but also rank. So what I love to do, and we can do this for kind of any affiliate program. And just another example of a website here, they might be promoting iHerb. You can look in the bottom left of my browser there. You can see a different kind of affiliate link. What I really love to do, and of course the most popular one is Amazon, you can take an affiliate link structure like I've done here, and you can, you want to add tags to it if you're looking for a specific affiliate that's also ranking in Google. So I can see these are all of the top traffic pages ranking in Google that are promoting something as an Amazon affiliate on their page. So not only can you see what competitors are up to, but you can also get more monetization ideas for content that you already have, or you can just find new products to promote. And again, this doesn't just work on Amazon, it works for any kind of affiliate link that you can find. So as another example, we have booking.com. The example earlier, a lot of people like to promote booking.com. I've changed the backlink type to in content. So not only can you just search for the affiliate style, which is AID, I believe, for booking.com, you can apply lots of other filters as well. So we can find, okay, the best beaches in Thailand, they're promoting promoting the Novotel Hotel. Incredible things to do in Singapore, another one promoting a hotel. And again, the thing I really love about this page is that you can focus on the actual traffic. So not only do you know this page has an affiliate link to something, as we can see here, we also know how much traffic they're getting. Then you can look into their rankings. And as I said, it applies to events, experiences, hotels, products, courses, whatever industry you're in. If you find an affiliate link anywhere, you can go and look up that in Ahrefs and see all of the pages promoting it, all of the people ranking, monetizing, potential extra terms for you to be targeting. And then just one more example here is that you don't necessarily have to do this. I just love this traffic focus. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is an affiliate focus. You can look at all of the websites that are driving the most potential traffic. So we've got Landing Tree here, we've got backlinks to Landing Tree. You can sort those by page traffic as well. One little filter I like to do, of course, there's different ways to look up when something was published, but a lot of websites still tend to put years in their URL, so I like to do that as well. And again, we can see things that are recently published, recently linking to a competitor, getting a lot of traffic and maybe potentially sending a lot of traffic to them. And one small little detail is that even if the websites themselves, so let's just say someone links to Amazon, but they actually go to their own internal link first, Ahrefs will pick that up. So here's a good example here. They have a link that ends up actually going through a redirect and redirects to booking.com. So even if someone isn't using a traditional affiliate link, we will find those as well because we track the route of that page. Okay, that's me for round one.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take over the screen again. Four incredible use cases, two completely different approaches, but only one person can win this round. Audience, is your time to vote. It got launched a little early, so sorry about that. Disregard that. You should be voting at this round that comes up, okay? You under polls and quizzes, you'll see the voting options that will pop up. You will vote twice, one for each use case pair, and vote for the ones where you believe was more powerful, more useful, more likely to move the needle. You have 1 minute to cast your vote. The clock starts now.
Constance, how are you determining the winner if on one use case I win and on another one Glen wins? It's a tie?
It's a 1-to-1, but yeah, we'll see.
Sorry, Glenn, it's Team's home arena. I like that. Yeah, and props for Constance for such an amazing vibe all the webinar.
Did you say sorry because you can see the votes, or someone wrote that?
No.
Oh. I don't want to know until the end.
Okay, and the
until
votes
the
are
end,
in. Can you see the votes, by the way? Do you guys see the votes?
I
No,
cannot
we
see,
cannot.
but yeah.
Okay, so only I get to see the votes. And the
Oh my
winner
God.
of round one is... One second. It's actually both of you guys, because it is a tie.
It is a tie?
Yeah, it is a tie. It's 1-to-1. Tim Soulo's site structure won, as well as Glen's smart monetization won the second one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on.
All right, step it up.
Don't count yourself out. Champions are made in adversity, so let's move on. Round two. Stakes are rising. The tension is building. Tim Soulo gets to strike first again. So the floor is yours. Show us what else you got. Take it away.
Okay, let's go. So my third use case is finding branded searches that your website doesn't rank for. Because a lot of people go to their Google Search Console to find their branded searches. But the thing is, in Google Search Console, you can only see the branded searches where your website ranks. This is the only way for Google to pick that up. But what about branded searches where your website doesn't rank? Well, for that, you can use Content Explorer, because you can put your brand here like I did, Ahrefs, Keywords Explorer. Sorry, I said Content Explorer. Keywords Explorer. By the way, I'm not muted, right? You can hear me. Yeah. I put my brand, Ahrefs, then I went to matching terms to expose all the keywords that we have with the word Ahrefs in them. And then we have a cool filter called target. So what I can do there is I can put my website, or you can put your website. Oh, I'm now seeing the results of the poll. I'm putting my website, and there's a setting show keywords that target doesn't rank for in top 100. I click apply. Well, it's applied already, but while preparing for this webinar, I actually discovered the bug, because as you can see here, the first keyword that I'm shown is Ahrefs, and in position, it shows that Ahrefs.com doesn't rank for the keyword Ahrefs. That's definitely a bug. I already checked in with our developers, and it turns out that Google, as they usually do, changed their search results pages, and our parser kind of didn't pick it up, but we already fixed the parser, and I think within maybe a couple hours, maybe a day, we should update all of these keywords, and yeah, you'll be able to use that filter well. But yeah, this is hilarious how you want to show off a cool feature and suddenly it stops working. But to give you a cool story, because of this feature, because I was searching for branded keywords that we don't rank for, we created this page. Ahrefs group buy, get Ahrefs at group buy pricing with zero risk, because we saw a lot of people ranking for the keyword Ahrefs group buy, and we didn't rank for it because we didn't have any content about it. So we decided to create this fun page where we basically introduced our $29 per month plan, which is an alternative to group buy. So this is just a fun way to play around with this kind of keyword. And then I also discovered that a lot of people are searching for how to pronounce Ahrefs, and we were not ranking for this one. So those of you who follow me on LinkedIn might remember when I asked our community to say Ahrefs in the way they say it in their countries, and a lot of people submitted their videos, and we created this fun video of how people around the world pronounce Ahrefs and embedded this into this article, how to pronounce Ahrefs. So yeah, basically watching your branded keywords that you don't rank for gives you a lot of cool ideas of content that you can create around your brand for people to discover and use. And yeah, small bonus, a lot of people don't know that we have this handy first seen setting. It shows the date when we first discovered the given keyword. So, for example, if I sort all the keywords containing Ahrefs by first seen, you can see that the most recent ones were discovered like in February, 13th February 2026. And yeah, we have comparisons with our competitors, Ahrefs AI Content Helper Official, Ahrefs Brand Radar Review 2026. So you can see that these are super fresh keywords. And again, if your brand is any significant size where people start searching for things and depending your brand name, you might want to watch what people are asking for in regards to your brand. And yeah, like I said, you might see these queries in Google Search Console, but I think to the best of my knowledge, in Google Search Console, you cannot sort them by like first seen. So this is a unique thing for Ahrefs. So yeah, this is how you use Keywords Explorer to monitor your branded searches, where you don't rank for your branded searches, and what are the new branded searches that appeared recently. And the second use case of the second round, again, one of my favorite things to do when I work with our content team, is correlating content updates whenever we refresh our content, or maybe content refreshes. I'm not a native speaker, so pardon if I'm saying it awkwardly, with search performance inside Explorer. So the thing is, like I'm saying here, no other marketing tool has this feature, to the best of my knowledge. So this is unique to Ahrefs. And basically, if you go to top pages report inside Explorer, so here I have Ahrefs blog. Top pages report, it has a comparison mode here. So I'm comparing the current date, 26th of February, to previous 3 months. And here I have this column called content changes. And there's also, I can see by color and actually by the name, moderate changes, moderate overhaul. So I can see that in the last 3 months, because I'm picking the last 3 months as my time frame, this article, top Google searches, had a total overhaul. So we changed a lot about it. And I can see that if I activate the, changes. So top Google searches changes plus 24. So not much. After the top overhaul, it didn't gain a lot of traffic. But you can also see that on the Site Explorer overview page. So if you put a specific URL, and here in this like 3 dots menu, you make sure that you activate content changes, it would add these bubbles to the graph. So on the graph, you can see how the search traffic to this article has performed. And here you can correlate. So you can see almost every time we did overhaul changes, traffic went up. It's just here it didn't went up for some reason, but here again, we did an overhaul of this article, traffic went up. It went down, we did an overhaul, it went up. So you can clearly illustrate to your clients how you make changes to specific pages, and you can illustrate how after those changes, the traffic to this page is growing. This is extremely visual and extremely easy to prove your value to the client. So these are 2 use cases from me for round 2. Again, the first use case was find branded searches your website doesn't rank for, and correlate content refreshes with search performance inside Explorer. That's it from me for round 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the second set of use cases from Tim. So now, he's not holding back, but can Glen Allsopp match that energy? Glen, the ring is yours. Please take over the share and show us what you've been saving.
Okay, let's go. Not bad, not bad. We'll see how we respond to that. Okay, so as you've probably seen, there's been a lot of discussions about this on the internet about especially so it's kind of taken over AI search temporarily, where there's a lot of so many best lists and people recommending themselves and AI basically sourcing and citing a lot of third-party lists where people are trying to get recommended on those. But it's not really a new thing. It's kind of always been in search results, and it's still a thing today. I don't want to call anyone out. I literally just Googled the first keyword that came to my mind, which is best project management software, and we can see Paymo has an article on the best project management software, and we can see Paymo is, making that list. Another one from Reich. I didn't open this article, but I'm sure they're probably covering them. I've covered this, and this doesn't only work, or it's not only a thing in software, like we have examples for here. And by the way, this is good day being recommended, and then a good day, list being, I believe it's a list, also being cited and sourced next to that recommendation. So whether you're selling products, whether you're an agency, I did a lot of research here, whether you are looking for courses, not necessarily courses online, but university courses and things like that, you will find these kind of recommendations, these kind of lists. What I've done a study into was how much they show up, and they were very, very prominent. Our advice is kind of to try and lead by example. They are less than 1% of our content. They will never be more than that. We don't always put ourselves in first place. We probably never will. If you're going to write your own kind of self-promotional list, please be incredibly careful. Please do it incredibly sparingly. And you definitely don't have to do it at all. It doesn't have to be something you do. Where my focus would be creating something so good and marketing yourself so well. The ideal situation is that you get on the lists of other people rather than worrying about creating your own stuff. So yeah, definitely don't go overboard with this in any way, shape, or form. So I want to be on third-party lists. That is my priority rather than creating my own. And Ahrefs has a tool that makes it really, really, really easy to see all of the lists that your competitors are on that are getting traffic, that have been getting backlinks that you are not on yourself. So if you open up the menu here, you can click on competitive analysis. It was just here on the left. And you've got a lot of options. You can look for keywords they're ranking for, paid keywords, referring domains, or referring pages. So the one we care about is referring pages. So I've opened this up in advance just to be quick and be useful. So as a simple example, so my target website is Asana. One of my competitors is Reich, just an example. And very quickly, so what I've done over here, and this is kind of the magic of this idea, is that all this tool is doing is looking at links one website has that the other one doesn't have. The way I've made it more practical and interesting for this use case is I've said it can match any of these rules that the page linking to Reich, which does not link to Asana, so we can see Asana doesn't have links from any of these pages, must contain in its title tag either the word best or recommended. Now, if you have another language, if you Spanish or Dutch or Japanese, whatever it may be, you can change these to what is relevant for your industry. Now I can go through these lists and the 7,000 URLs here. You can export them, you can play with them in different ways that you like. We've ranked them here by page traffic, so you can see some of these we are estimating, and there's a lot of the same website here. Some of these we are estimating. Reich is getting a ton of mentions across this whole entire domain. If you don't have a relationship with this website, and there's this network of websites, it might be one you want to start because they are getting some great press on these lists, and that's someone I'd want to know and connect with in some way. And we've got lots of other websites here, People Managing People, CPO Club, and again, you can change these. And what I really like about this tool is if you have your own website in here, but you can't think of some competitors in the moment, if you just click in one of these fields. Oh, of course, it's not going to do it as soon as I'm recording a webinar. Let me hide the first one. All right, I think it's because I had the page preloaded. Let me just change this real quick just to see if I can get that to show. Let's do cars.com. Yeah, there we go. So if you have, yeah, don't close your tabs and come back to it 10 minutes later. So if you put in your target website, then you're going to get a list of competitors instantly. You don't have to think of them. We're going to pull that from our database. Just super useful. And we can go to these pages. I won't bore you with the whole thing, but this Gantt Pro article, there's only one mention of Asana, and that is in a testimonial. It is not a link, but it does mention Reich. Another example here. We can see right here on CPO Club, but there is no mention of Asana. And you can go and build relationships, connect with these websites, and get some opportunities there. And just another way to do this, if you don't want to think of the words in a title, this is just something we launched last month. It's really cool. It's been really popular, is you can now select page types. So instead of having to think of what words are actually in the title, you can just search for listicle in the page type filter, and you can search for categories as well. And you can see all of these different pages that Reebok are getting mentioned on, discounts for different professions, top shoes men should own. These are the kind of lists and people linking out from their websites that you might want to build relationships with. Tight list, again, more examples, all of these different kind of lists. Because we have this page filter in place, you don't have to think of any of the terms. And then, is that tight list again? Oh, it's changed. So another option, maybe you don't want to look at listicles, you want to look at reviews. So who's actually reviewing a product, reviewing your competitor? Maybe you want to send them your products, maybe you want to reach out, maybe you want to have them on your podcast, whatever it may be. So that is my first one. And then I'm going to switch over to Firefox for this next one. Wait, let me just show what I'm going to talk about. So this one is pretty special. So if you've ever lost search traffic and you want to know who's taken over that search traffic instead, this is a really, really cool way to be able to do that. So let me go back into Firefox. So we have NerdWallet open here. We can see not a crazy drop, right? I don't want to show anyone having big troubles or anything like that on the webinar, but we can see they've lost some traffic and some rankings since the last time we updated their numbers. So what you can do, we can go in organic keywords here on the left. We can look at positions that they've lost. I'm not so interested in terms that include their brand name, and I've got the word count here as 4. So I can see over 1 million keywords that we've been tracking. Now, these aren't always in the US. It might be India, Canada, Spain, wherever it is that they have lost rankings for. Now, if this is your website, if this is your client, if this is your competitor, what you may be wondering, well, if they lost the rankings, who took all of that traffic? So what you can do, you can take all of these keywords if you like. You can select all of them, or you can just select 50. And what you can do, you can add them to a keyword list. And then if you take that list into another tool of ours, Keywords Explorer, you can figure out exactly where that traffic is gone. Now, I didn't want to focus too much on NerdWallet. I didn't think that would be fair to them on a webinar with a lot of people, but I have my own little keyword list here. If this sidebar looks weird, I'm just hiding some of the words. This isn't normally how Ahrefs looks. So what I've done here, I've took a list of 500 keywords that matter to an industry I care about. I've put them inside Ahrefs Keyword Explorer. And what I can do is I can go to traffic share by domain. So you could have taken all of those keywords that they lost traffic for, you put them in a list, put them in this, click on by domain here, and you will see all of the websites that are taking that traffic and taking those rankings. So in the best software space, we can see Reddit dominating, Gartner, G2, whoever it may be. And what's really cool is you can compare it. So you can check versus a month ago who's actually getting even more traffic, who else is losing traffic for these terms that we care about, and who's actually gaining traffic. And then what's really useful about this angle, as I'm sure you've heard, especially with AI search these days, is that we really want to get on as many good quality third-party sources as possible. So websites like Reddit, websites like G2. What I love doing is taking all the keywords I care about and looking at all the Reddit pages ranking for those terms. So we've got 900 plus pages here ranking for the 500 terms I care about. These are all the Reddit threads that we found showing up in Google for those terms. These are the terms that we found them for. This is the estimated traffic. What you could go and do then, and of course, please don't spam anything and be careful about your brand. You can go to these pages, see which ones are open. Maybe people are already talking about your company and your software, and you can get involved in these discussions. And it's not just Reddit. You might get ideas for videos to create. You might get ideas where Facebook groups might be discussing you. You can get in on the comments. And just to reiterate, these are all ranking in Google for terms you've either lost traffic for or you really care about, and you can get involved in those and try and recoup some of that and build your brand in the process.
Okay. Is that the end, Glenn?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
All right, awesome. Okay. I will go ahead and take over. All right, you've been witnessing greatness here tonight, folks. 2 phenomenal use cases from each competitor, and 2 additional weapons from each competitor that you, the audience, can use in your arsenal. But again, only one person can take this round. So audience, the voting starts. 1 second. Now.
It's a good thing that in the first round we had a tie because if it would be 2 rounds for Glen, it would be kind of knockout already.
Okay. Oops. And the voting is over. 1 second. And the winner of round 2 is Glen Allsopp.
Wow, nice,
Ah.
nice. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I
Sharing the
appreciate
results
it.
of the poll. So just the first one, Glen edged out just slightly, and the second one, he completely took it. It was pretty awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I think
Okay.
is it that people didn't like my correlating content changes to content to traffic growth, or Glenn's who took your rankings was too strong? So I
See,
wonder which is it, because yeah, the first one we are very close.
yeah. I think like I mean, all the use cases were really, really good this time around. So we'll see. All right.
Yeah, there are a couple interesting comments in the chat I'm seeing. So first of all, yeah, we'll keep doing this. I don't know monthly or not, but we will have some other people come here, like Patrick versus Ryan or Louise versus I don't know Despina. So yeah, more people would do these kind of battles of their favorite use cases. So we're going to continue the series for sure. And someone is saying that it would be great to write an article with all the use cases. I think we can actually try using AI to do it. I
Yeah.
wonder if AI can take this transcript and write an article. We will of course, polish it. But yeah, we'll definitely turn this webinar, this battle rather, into an article.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Round 3. Final round. Everything has been building up to this moment. Every tactic and insight with these final 4 use cases, 2 for each fighter. Everything is on the line. Again, we'll go with Tim to begin his round. So take it away and take over the
Okay.
share.
Championship round, the final one. So the next 2 use cases, or the first of the next 2 use cases, is using Content Explorer for finding brand mentions. Yeah, first of all, I think that Content Explorer is the most overlooked tool in Ahrefs in general. Whenever people are asking me, like, what's the least, what's the tool that deserves more attention but doesn't get it, I always say Content Explorer. And now, in the era of AI and in the era of AI visibility, where you want to get cited by LLMs, you cannot put all your eggs into the basket of your own website. You need to have massive presence on other websites, because when LLMs create their answers, they don't pull just from your website. They pull from a lot of websites. And Content Explorer is great for finding where you're already mentioned. So, for example, what I did here, I went to Content Explorer, I put our brand name, Ahrefs, and I was looking for all of the pages that mention Ahrefs anywhere in the content, and I applied a few filters. So first of all, I only focused on English pages because we are also mentioned in a lot of other languages. Then I of course filtered explicit results, because internet is a nasty place, and spammers would auto-generate text and your brand would show up in all sorts of bad pages. So it's better to keep this turned on. Then a very useful filter. So website that is hosting the page that mentions Ahrefs should have at least 10,000 visits per month from search. This is a great filter, again, to filter out all sorts of low quality websites, all the, I don't know, PBNs and whatnot. So this is a great filter to use to increase the quality of your results. And then in the end, yeah, I also limited the publish date, so when these pages were published, to the last 30 days. So I want to know all the pages where Ahrefs was mentioned in the last 30 days. And they get pretty a lot of them, 455 pages. So I could probably use more filters. For example, page traffic or domain rating or referring domains to further drill down into results. But the very first page is quite interesting. Claude.com connectors Ahrefs. I can immediately see that we have published our connector at Claude.com, and it's showing up here. Oh, by the way, I can exclude our own website, ahrefs.com. For that, I just need to do this minus site, ahrefs.com, hit search. Oh, all the filters are left intact, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and now it's not showing our own website, which is very useful. But yeah, Claude page is the first one. So yeah, you want to do this with your competitors. So you want to know all of the places where your competitors get mentioned, because yeah, it's one thing to use AI visibility tool like Brand Radar and see the actual citations that LLMs are using today. But the thing is, tomorrow, LLMs won't necessarily use the same citations. And if your competitors will get a strong mention on a strong website, it would probably show up as a citation tomorrow. So you want to be one step ahead. You want to put your competitor here, and you want to consistently monitor all the websites where they show up. And again, I'm biased, but there is no better tool to track something like this, because Ahrefs, as you know, crawls the entire web, has a fresh index of the entire web. So we are a great source of this data, and we keep improving the Content Explorer index. By the way, if you know that you or your competitor got a mention on some strong page, but it's not showing up in Content Explorer, please report it to our customer support. We want to know this. We want to fix this, because right now, with the move of marketing and SEO to AEO, answer engine optimization, we're putting a lot of effort in this database and in this product specifically, because we understand how important it is for our customers. And other than brand names, you can actually put any keyword. So for example, if you have, I know, a productivity app, you can put the word productivity here. So productivity. And you'll see all the pages that mention productivity according to your filters. And yeah, this is vastly more pages, 42,000 pages that mention productivity. So you want to add more filters. You maybe might want to exclude some keywords, etc., etc., etc. But again, for outreach, if you have an agency that is doing outreach, or if you have an outreach specialist in your team, this is a gold mine of opportunities of websites to reach out and feature your own brand. So this is incredibly useful, especially for answer engine optimization. So this was use case number 5, and the last use case, using YouTube Index and Brand Radar to find channels to sponsor. So again, this is useful for brand awareness. So if you want to promote your brand, if you want more people to learn about your brand, YouTube is a great platform to get visibility for your brand. And specifically sponsoring YouTube creators, so that your product, your brand would show up in their videos. How do you do this? So for example, what I did here, I'm searching for Squarespace in YouTube Index of Brand Radar. And as you can see, so specifically I'm using filter, I'm searching for Squarespace in descriptions of videos, because typically when a video gets sponsored, they have this blurb in the description like the video is sponsored by Squarespace, blah blah blah. So for example, here, try Squarespace free for 2 weeks, there's affiliate link, blah blah blah. And we have 2,000 videos in our database, which again, right now, as you can see, YouTube visibility is in beta. So we're still populating this index. We're still growing it. And yet we have 2,000 videos, mostly coming from all sorts of different channels. So yeah, Squarespace's own website, Kill Tony, Katomanda, doesn't matter. So basically, I know which channels accept sponsorships like Squarespace, and I can get featured there. So this is very useful, but also you can search in the actual transcripts of the videos. So this is again very useful for answer engine optimization, because those systems, they would pull from YouTube as well. And if there's a lot of content that is mentioning your competitors' brands, your competitors' products, or actually the problems that your product is solving, you can find all those videos easily with our YouTube Index and Brand Radar, and you can reach out to the owners of those channels and figure out some kind of partnerships. Maybe they would do a review of your product. Maybe you would sponsor their channel. It's for you to decide. But yeah, if you're working with sizable brands who are eager to work with influencers on YouTube, this YouTube index of Brand Radar is a gold mine for opportunities for channels to sponsor it. And that's it from me. 2 use cases. Again, the first use case is using Content Explorer to find pages where your competitors are mentioned or which are mentioning your industry keywords. And the second one is using Brand Radar YouTube Index, which is essentially the same use case as in Content Explorer, but Content Explorer finds you pages and websites, and Brand Radar YouTube Index finds you YouTube videos and YouTube channels. That's it.
All right, all right. So then we go to the final side of round 3. Glenn, this is your moment. Leave it all in the ring and take it over.
All right, let's go. Oh, I feel the pressure now. Final round. Okay, share my screen. Okay, so for the final round, I'm gonna share something in the second half of this that I've never talked about also, and I think is really special. First, we're gonna talk about something, it's kind of a simple idea, but what Ahrefs does with all the filters that we have available makes this really special. So the simple idea is I want to see what are all the new terms that competitors are ranking for that they weren't ranking for before and get inspiration for those. So a very simple idea, something you've been able to do for a long time, but the filters that we have in place just make this really, really cool. So just a random example here, public company, it always feels fairer to talk about those when I give examples, and I didn't want to show anyone losing a ton of traffic. So we can see that traffic is going up here for car gurus. They've talked about this on earnings calls, which I love to follow as well. Just really seeing a lot of growth over the past year or so. So what we can do is we go into their organic keywords, and the filters I have here are those that I really think make this special. So not only are we looking for new keywords, but I'm looking for new keywords they're ranking for that they weren't ranking for before, and they must be in the first 3 positions in Google. So not just, page 2, 3, 4. I really want, they came from nowhere and now they're dominating that search result. I've changed the language. You can change the language to whatever you want. We focused on intents, lots of different options here, transactional, informational. I want non-branded because of course they're going to rank for anything to do with their name. Maybe they've released a new product. This is also special, so we don't want the domain rating of the pages that are ranking alongside it for these same terms. We don't want those being too authoritative that we might not have a chance to rank ourselves. So lots of different terms here. Get inspiration. You can add word count. You can see how much traffic growth they've gotten for those pages. And kind of like Tim's site structure idea concept he talked about at the start, you can get an idea of, oh, maybe they've started covering a new area like Fort Worth. You can export these and give them to your favorite LLM and ask them for any kind of commonalities in the answers. So you can really do a lot with this data. So it's not just the automotive space. I have another example here. I've changed the word count, so I've added the word count ASOS in the fashion space. We can see they're suddenly starting to rank for all of these different kind of products. Maybe they've added more kind of informational content. Why are they ranking for these kind of pages? You can get a lot of inspiration from that. I have one open, I think, here already. Yeah, so what you can do is you can click into any of these pages, just like I showed before, any of these keywords, sorry, and here's the example page, and you can see all of the locations is ranking in, the keyword difficulty, we had them ranking nowhere, and now we have them ranking second in Google. Like, what did they do here? Have they been changing the page? You can go use Page Inspect and see the change history, and then you can click on those keywords, and you can see, okay, when we saw them ranking first, and sorry, this is where so we clicked on the keywords, we opened up Keyword Explorer, we can see where they were ranking, was it part of the image pack, what kind of SERP feature, the other pages that are ranking, and because I had that domain rating filter, there must be someone, was it in the top 5 results with a domain rating of less than 30, we can see that there. Maybe gives you a bit of confidence that maybe you could rank for something similar like that if you have a less authoritative website. So just a couple more examples. Linus Tech Tips, you can do the same. See all the new keywords that they're ranking for at a specific date. Dive into the site structure. Dive into, is this from their forums? Did they suddenly start selling new products? Can you get inspired to do something else? So that's part one of the last round, and I've left probably my favorite one for last, and hopefully it is something you guys enjoy as well. So I am kind of obsessed with keeping track on competitors in lots of different industries. And Ahrefs has three really, really cool ways to be able to do this. So in the standard UI, and we're going to talk about the MCP and the API briefly. In the standard UI, we have this tool called batch analysis. So you can put up to 1,000 pages in here. They can be subdomains, subfolders, regular websites, they can be individual URLs, and you can get data on all of these URLs at once. So I shouldn't try and type too much on a webinar. I'm sure I'm going to make some typos as I'm going, but just to put in a few examples, nerdwallet.com/UK, just to, and automatically look, I didn't have to tell it, hey, I'm looking for a path here. It automatically updated that smartsheet.com. So let's just keep it simple for now. I'll click on analyze, and I'm going to get a ton. You see how quick that was, right? This is all real time. I'm going to get a ton of data on these websites. So how many keywords do they have in the top three? Where are they getting the most traffic from? So Notion, it is South Korea, interestingly. The keywords, we see that NerdWallet isn't actually buying. Oh, sorry. One thing I did wrong there is I should have put www. Give me one sec. Should update quickly as well. So one thing we will see for NerdWallet is where they are not buying. Oh, they are buying ads now. All right, so we got the proper domain there. We have, so whether they're buying ads, what kind of expected expense, referring domains, what kind of backlink situation do they have? Now, what my situation here I do is I want to really take advantage of that 1,000 URL limit. So I'll have different folders, different subdomains, and you can save these anywhere, right? So you can always copy and paste them and easily put them into batch analysis. And what I will do every week or every 2 weeks, depending on how many websites you're checking, I will take a kind of snapshot of this so you can export it. And then 2 weeks from now, I'll set myself a reminder in my calendar, go check this again, and then I'll compare it. So you don't have to open dozens of tabs looking at all these different websites manually and trying to check all of the charts inside Explorer. You can use batch analysis and you compare the two results and you can see, okay, Monday.com is now getting 800,000 monthly visitors from Google. 2 weeks ago, it was 750,000. And then maybe you'll dive into Site Explorer, site structure, sorry, the new keywords that they're ranking for. So again, I'm just showing a couple of examples here, but please push this to the limit. Please put in 100 URLs, 200 URLs, subfolders, subdomains. Who is crushing it with a certain section of their website that you know you're competing with? Is there a certain folder that's taking off? And then just one more example here, another industry. And another thing that might be interesting to me is not just where how much traffic they're getting, but maybe suddenly someone's starting running ads, which they weren't doing before. So in your past export, you will see there's no ads. Now they suddenly are. Now you know, instead of manually clicking on ads every week inside Explorer for one website, you can get this big overall view. And what's really cool, I don't know if any of you guys have played with it. This is really growing fast. I've seen the user numbers recently, and we're really happy with the usage here of our MCP. What you can do, if I just go back to PowerPoint here, so we have two options. Everyone, whether you're on light, standard, advanced Ahrefs plans, you will get credits now every single month, no extra costs that you can use our MCP. So if you don't want to use the standard AI, maybe you want to go and ask more questions. So if you see Credit Karma now it suddenly has a ton of backlinks, you can ask the MCP in context in chat, hey, what kind of links did they pick up? How different is that compared to a month ago? And where were they coming from? And if you don't want to work with the MCP, if you're also a developer, you have access to our API, you can also, this is, ignore my design, it's just something I was playing around with. Maybe not all of those fields were interesting to you. So instead of manually running a batch analysis every 2 weeks, you could automate it and you could get alerts and send yourself messages when something actually starts ranking better and starts picking up a lot more keywords that they're ranking for. So please push this to the limit. Literally put in 100 URLs that you care about. Check them every 2 weeks. You're going to get so many good insights here that you wouldn't get just manually clicking around. All right, that is my final jab for round three.
All right, all right. Gonna go ahead and take over here. So All 12 use cases have now been delivered, folks. What a battle! But for now, the fate of this showdown rests in your hands. Audience, now you are casting your final votes. Make it count. You have 1 minute. Oops. Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen!
Whoa. Sorry. Yeah.
Will we have the final word for the winner and the loser?
We will have, yeah, we'll have final word.
The next one, we need to bring some professional ring announcer, like Bruce Buffer or something, to interview us. Maybe Joe Rogan would want to join the webinar. Oh, the name of my use case is incorrect.
Yeah,
It wasn't
the
giving
name
paid
is
keywords.
it's Content Explorer.
Yeah. My first use case was Content Explorer for answer engine optimization and for brand reputation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1 second. Just moving around a few screens here. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have witnessed tonight is nothing short of extraordinary. Two titans in the SEO world, two masters of their craft, 12 incredible use cases. Both fighters left everything in the ring tonight. Both demonstrated why they're among the most respected voices in the industry, but only one can emerge victorious. The votes have been counted, the audience has spoken, and
So.
Ladies and gentlemen! Your winner!
Come on.
Your champion!
This is awesome.
Glen Allsopp!
So what were the results of the third round?
here we go. Here the results.
Allsopp!
Oh, so you got me on the first time.
Yeah, on the first one I got you, but on the second one, so it's a tie. So we have 2 tie rounds and 1 round where Glenn won. So it's like a winner by split decision.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
actually
close.
a closer fight than I thought it was going to be.
It's not a career-ending victory.
So, Glen
Yeah, let's give
Allsopp.
word to the winner, to Glenn. Do you want
Glen
to
Allsopp takes the
thank
crown
your parents
today.
and such?
Yeah, thank you. I was literally gonna say that. Thank you, my friends, my family, everyone who believed in me for today's event. Uh, yeah, I've been working 21 years just to get to this moment in SEO. So thank you all. I sincerely appreciate it. This was very fun. Thank you to Tim. You came up with the idea. And Constance, you really took it to the next level. I really appreciate the uniqueness you made out of this. So that was really cool. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone. I hope you got a lot out of it.
it was awesome to put this together. It was a lot of fun. And as pledged, Tim will be donating
Yeah.
$500 to Dog Trust UK. That's his charity of choice. So now we know the thank yous and comments
Wait,
are.
can I also have a word? Come on.
Yeah,
The
no,
loser is
we
also
hear from the
getting
loser. He needs
interviewed.
a word from the loser here.
So yeah, thanks a lot for the audience for coming. Thanks a lot to everyone who cheered for me. I did my best. It's a split decision victory. I only lost in 1 round. The other rounds, I managed to perform well. Yeah, no excuses. Next time I'll face Glenn. We'll have a rematch, and I'm going to win. But thank you for coming.
All right. Before we close out this historic event, a few important announcements. A lot of people ask this question. If you want to relive the magic, you can or share it with your colleagues who missed out. The full live stream will be available on YouTube after this webinar ends. You watch it, share it, and send it to anyone who likes to watch Like, especially people in the US time zone, I think they won't be able to attend, which is a bummer, but I have good news for that. And the second thing is when you close out this webinar, you will receive a feedback form. Please take a moment to share your thoughts. Your feedback helps us make these events even better. And who knows, it'll also influence who we bring next into the ring for future events. Okay? And we have one final announcement. You didn't think this was a one-time event, did you? Tim already spoiled it earlier, but that's okay. In March, the Ahrefs Showdown will return, and we'll have 2 new combats stepping into the ring. Content versus technical, strategy versus structure, Ryan Law versus Patrick Stox. Join us back again on 26 March for the next Ahrefs Use Case Showdown. So mark your calendars and tell your friends, because you do not want to miss the next installment of Ahrefs Showdown Use Case Showdown series. Okay? Once again, I would like to take a moment to thank our incredible competitors, Tim Soulo. Thank you for bringing the heat tonight. Thank you for sharing the tactics straight from the Ahrefs War Room. Yeah. Glen, Allsopp, thank you for pulling back the curtain, and you showed us how to get untapped insights from data reports. It's a matter of how one wields their tools. And to our wonderful audience, thank you for voting, and thank you for joining us today. And thank you for making this first ever Ahrefs Use Case Showdown one for the history books. This has been, I've been your host, Constance. Please scan the QR code if you'd like to register for next month's Use Case Showdown. And until next time, keep building, stay hungry, and we'll see you next time in the ring.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you,
Good night.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and end the webinar, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.